Hi, everybody. Let me know if you can hear and see me. And let me know if you can hear and see me. Welcome to Sow and Tare Weekly Live. And we do this every week, Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And any topics are open. Thank you, Verna and Steve. Any topics are open for discussion. If we're talking about one thing and you want to talk about something else, go ahead and put it in the comment section in discussion. And talking about homestead stuff, animals or gardens or food or anything. So anything that's related to that. So let's get started. And please keep the comments family friendly in the chat. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. I'm just going to start. You guys were here well before I was. S.O. Swanson says, greeting to everyone from the Mississippi Delta. I'm not late. Greetings. Steve, are you experiencing, I know Mississippi is experiencing a drought. Are you experiencing like severe drought where you are? Aaron says, I'll write down Steve, the attendance taker. I just realized the sound on my phone is on, so I am going to turn that off. And there we go. Oh, Verna. Verna is my moderator, and she's wonderful, and she is now I don't know, are you an auntie? Are you a, I don't know. You don't really do that with things you're going to eat. She had some KV, Kui, I forget what they're called, babies. They don't hatch. I was going to say hatch. She had some babies be born. You said Friday, right? These are the guinea pigs. Every time I want to say guinea pig, I want to say cupcake because my friend as a kid had a guinea pig named Cupcake. So that's why I always stumble over the word. any of the Kui, Cavi, guinea pig, it all starts as cupcake in my head. Anyway, so yeah, how are they doing? Steve wants to know, and so do all of us. Verna says they left and you were on time. The pups are at least twice as big as when they were born. Wow. So Verna has these guinea pigs, Kui, that are just amazingly active and amazingly, like when they were born, they were like, go, 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 and I was surprised at how long the gestation was. I was like, that's a really long gestation. But then like they come out as if they were, 2-week-old rabbits or something like that, like their eyes are open, they're already active, they're already eating. And so it's great. They're growing fast. Awesome. Steve's having fun. Everybody's saying hi, Verna. Half-hour mark. Well, we don't have to come up half an hour early, but thank you. Aaron needs his naps. Okay. Steve says, watching someone cooking, trying to learn something. Hopefully you learned it, and hopefully you're able to do it now. So I don't know what you're learning to cook, but mostly cooking is following directions. There's a few things that is a little more intricate, but cooking is mostly following directions. And if the cookbook is written well, then you should do well. There are some language things, the glossary of knowledge that you might need to know. But as far as cooking goes, baking is chemistry. So that's another story. If you do something wrong in baking, it can be hard to repair that. So you can hear and see me. Awesome. Ed, hey Ed, I hope you're feeling good. Ed says, I'm back. I'm just going to listen. Tooth still hurts and my head still hurts, so I'm not very active today, but hi everybody. Hi everyone. Well, hello, and I hope that you feel better. I have no idea what you've been instructed, and I obviously follow doctor's advice, but I know that cloves is good for toothache, and I don't know what your issue is particularly, but to chew, like have a clove back there. ask a doctor before you do that. But that's what I say. Hey, Feather Connections. Hey, Kelly. Hey. Got the notification this time. Well, welcome, Kelly. And Vernal already needs coffee. We haven't even started, really. Everybody's saying hi to Kelly. There's this hi. Gidrose Urban Homestead. Hey, everyone. Hi, Gidrose. That is Kristen, I believe. And Feather Connection says, question, how many quail do you have? All in one aviary? What's the ratio like in the aviary versus cage setting? So I have 2 aviaries. One I call the main aviary. That is where, currently that is where all the standards are, although I do have some jumbos in there because I needed to round out some extra females. I have about 40 in there that are hens, and it's still the 5-to-1 ratio about. Like, I mean, it doesn't need to be any different in my setup. So my main aviary is about 7 feet by about 10 feet, so 70 square feet. And that is way less than, I mean, it's way less than one per square foot. But I have had them thicker in there and they haven't had an issue either. So I don't think, at least in that space, they don't really appear to have like territories. I know that I find eggs laid in the similar places. So like, these 5 girls like to lay over here, and then I always know there's going to be an egg over there. So I don't know if that's really territory or if that's just a preference of where they decide to be. They're not always in those spots, but if I'm like, oh, I'm missing an egg, where would it be? Okay, I got that one. Oh, I missed one over here. Is one over there? And there usually what is. So I guess there's that difference. And then the other part of that is they have things to do. So in a cage system, often it's just a cage and they don't have much to do. Sometimes they're provided with a dust bath, sandbox, sometimes not. And so they don't really have anything to do. So they might, interact with each other more to keep them entertained. This is just me, talking. I don't have any hard facts on this, but in the aviary, they have things to do. So they have, the wood chips to scratch around in and find little bugs. And one night I was even out there and the rope light was on. But one night I was out there and there was a moth that was flying close to the ground. And one of the girls, she chased it down and nabbed it. So like they have things to do. I mean, they'll even dig into the chips and just take a chip bath, even though they do have a sand bath. Sometimes they do that. So I think, so the reason, let me back up. In a cage system, and what people generally say for Coturnix quail, the ratio should be 5 females to 1 male. I think that's probably true throughout, unless you have like a really active male, he might need more females, or a really chill male, he might have less females. But I think overall that ratio is true. And then like I'm not seeing overbreeding, right? But I am seeing signs of breeding with like the feathers missing on the back a little bit, but it's not extreme. And then the other part of that is usually people say 3 birds per square foot. And the reason why it's 3 birds per square foot in a cage system is actually for their protection. So this is something that I know Zach from My Shire Farm has figured out, and it's actually in published articles, not just from him. So like this is actually something that people have figured out independently. And they do tend to hold territories and say, this is my space, that's your space. And if there's only food over here and that's their territory and they're not letting anybody go in, then there can be fights. So if you put more of them in, they don't hold territories and it's more of a free range type situation. And I know a lot of people say that sounds really crowded. But it's just like in my aviary. I think I had a video. I think I had part of the video from today showed, they're always around the outside. It's the same in a cage situation, as far as I've seen, and as a aviary situation where the activity is mostly concentrated around the outside. Now you might notice that less in a cage system because it's skinnier, but I think it still happens. And they tend to group together, and they have that full area to be in. So I think it's fine. And then the other aviary, I have my jumbos, and I actually call it the raviary, like a rave, because, well, it used to have a rabbit above it, and the baby rabbits will be above them later. And, well, I don't have baby rabbits right now. They are in the tummies of their mamas, and they just got their nest boxes today. So by Thanksgiving, we should have baby bunnies. And then once they are weaned, so we're not even close there, but they're going to go over the quail. And I have a aviary netting below the hutch for the rabbits. And that works for me. Those are the jumbo eggs. So those are the ones that I hatch myself for meat. And, that works for me. And in that, I have 16 females and 3 males. So I was going to do 15 and I miscounted. So I'm like, you can live. So that's what I do. And the reason why I only have 15 is because that's how many over 7 days I can get a full incubator, or I can get a full incubator load of eggs within 7 days. So there's no need for me to have more than that. I have a hovebator. Anyway, really great question, Kelly. It took up a long time answering. Hopefully I answered it completely. PJ, hi PJ. Hey guys and gals from the Catskill Mountains of New York. And you're not covered in snow. I'm so thankful that you are not in that buffalo snow. Is anybody here experiencing that deep snow? Hopefully not. Hopefully that's a lot. Guido says, hope you are feeling better soon, Ed. I agree. Steve says, we've not experienced the drought that the rest of the country had. We have green fields and lots of hay. That's good. That's good, because I know that there are barges. So the way the Mississippi River works is it's not a free-flowing river. It's a stair step of like locks and dams. And parts of that is drying up so that like the barges, which there's a lot of barges going down the Mississippi River, that they ground and they can't go through. So that's why I was asking that question, Steve. Aaron says, Kelly, friends don't ask that question. You know what? It's okay, because you have to understand the possibilities of your space, right? And I know I asked Verna the same question. I'm like, oh, well, how many could you have at QuailCon? Because what people tend not to understand is that if you are in a small space, you can still have a lot of quail successfully and happily. So I don't actually know the square footage of the raviary. It's smaller, but not much. And it's a weird shape. So that's why it's like 6 feet by 9 feet by, I don't remember this distance, but it's like it's a weird shape. Like has an angle on this end. So yeah, I think it's a fine question, and what you can do with those, and yeah. Okay, let's see where we are. Verna, yes, cooey or cavy, cooey or cavy, early Friday morning, early, right? Like 1 a.m. I think you said. Yeah, I'm way behind because I told a story early on. That's okay. I have to find you again. Well, it's all turning brown from the cold down. Yeah, the greenness. Yeah. Well, you guys, you're hopefully near. There are bald eagles, at least along the Mississippi River, that come from all over the country to be there. So that would be something to see if you haven't seen that along the Mississippi River. There are known places for that. It's pretty impressive to see. Verna's saying hi, everybody. Verna says furry equivalent of quail at hatching. I'm so used to saying hatching. I want to say they hatched. Hey, Dawn's here. Hi, everyone. Welcome, Dawn. Everybody's saying hi. All right, everybody's saying hi. Everybody's saying hi. Wow. Aaron says, would adding large platforms in the aviary be considered square footage? Adding square footage? Yeah. So if you like, let's say you had a ramp to go up to something, then that would add your square footage. It would be like a square footage of a 2-story house, right? So yeah, that would be true. I think the main idea behind square footage, as I interpret it, is to prevent to have enough animals in a space that it, one, prevents the territorial behavior, and two, does not encourage overcrowding behavior. So as long as you're on either side of those spectrums, I think that's fine. And different, I mean, you're going to also probably have differences in your habitats and differences in your cage systems with just that part of it, but also the individuals involved. So my very first hatch, I had a jerk. He was a jerk from the very beginning, and he was the first one I processed. I've only had one, but he did not breed. And so I think if you have a jerk that sneaks in, I think especially like in a cage system, it might be harder to pick out. And I don't have cage systems right now, but somebody can tell me if that's true or not. But I would think that it might be harder to pick them out than, I mean, I can go and sit in my aviary, which I do, and I sit on top of the sandbox because it's covered, and I sit there and I watch them, and they're just fun to watch. But I mean, I do have one male that's a little overactive, but I keep an eye on him, and he's fine. He's not mean to the girls. He's just he's just an active boy. So I think it's easier to see potential bullies, I guess, in an aviary setting. I don't know. Yeah, but you could add square footage by doing that. The only thing that I would be worried about with that is how you manage the poop. So if you're having birds poop on each other, that's not great. But like, for example, if I totally ran out of space and for some reason needed to house more quail and I didn't have any rabbits in the hutches above, I would put quail in those hutches because the wire is fine for adults. And you could do that. It's just how do you want to deal with the poop? That's always the question with quail. It isn't the question isn't about the quail, it's about the poop. How do you want to manage it? So that's the only issue with, I think, if you were to like double decker things, somebody's gonna get pooped on. So yeah, but you could design it otherwise. Linda, hi all. Hello, welcome. Feathered Connection says, phew, there's everyone having internet issues apparently. Uh-oh. Hopefully it's working now. Everybody's saying hi. Linda, hatching at home. I'm gonna guess that might be, I think I know who you are, but howdy. Oh yes, it is Linda. Howdy, this is Linda from Sacramento. Good to finally be able to join in for this live. Welcome. You have such great ideas, and I just want to say that out loud because you have great ideas. And I know your Hatching at Home program, I know you're doing great with it. I know Kelly started with it and taken off running. I'm thinking about taking the class, so that's good. I just have to decide if I want to add more things to my plate right now. Welcome. Everybody's saying hi to the Lindas, hatching at home and not hatching at home. Howdy to my quail family. Oh, good evening, everyone, from my mom, Mary. Good evening. Thanks for joining. Everybody saying hi. Linda says, and Katrina, I'm sure I missed some. Oh, it's okay. You don't have to say hi to me. You're saying hi by showing up. Oh, you guys just jumped. Let's see. Hatching a home. Oh, this makes sense about the territorial behavior. Thanks for explaining that. Makes sense why they recommend 3 per square foot in cage systems. Yeah. I mean, I've learned a lot from Zach with My Shire Farm, and he has those answers. But I've also, read some about it, and then what I've experienced on my own. I haven't really experienced obvious territorial behavior. Like the only territorial like thing is that they lay in the same spots, and they have very similar egg. It's not like a thumbprint, but it almost is. They have very similar eggs, so I can expect that, oh, the light brown one's going to be over here, and the white one, the more one with more white, is going to be over here. And you can kind of guess where things are. So that, I don't know if this is territory. Maybe it's territory, but not being territorial. I don't know. Yes. My mom says, "Yay, baby bunnies. They're not here yet." But I was out singing to the bunnies earlier today, and they were listening. It's so funny. Meatball, she was there, and she was like, and then she went over and eat something, and then she came back, and then she squashed herself right up against the the door and was just listening to me with her ears up. It was so cute. Verna says, "Kui are loud when they have their pups." I'm sure. Sounds like when males fight. Well, I mean, they're pretty big when they come out, Verna. Yeah, I would expect that. Hatching a Home, Linda says, "Katrina, what kind of bedding do you use in your outdoor aviaries?" I use the wood chips from the people who I hear chipping trees. Anything is fine to use except for cedar. And like right now, I've had this wood chip pile probably for 2 months now in the back of my garage, and I just haven't had the time to deal with it. We took out the compost. We have a similar system for the chickens and rabbits, which is a rack and house. And we took out that is about, it's a little more than 8 feet by, I don't know, 9 feet or something like that for them. It's 3 chickens and 2 rabbits over 3 chickens. And out of that, we got 19 feed bags of compost after sifting. So it's the same system, except for it doesn't get turned as much, because I definitely don't turn it as much as the chickens churn theirs. And I have to be the chicken to turn it. So right now there is pine and ash, I think, is what is the next thing to go in the aviary. The last thing that went in was mostly redwood, and that doesn't break down fast. So I would say if you're trying to get compost out of the system, it's the same thing I put in my walkways. And I have some videos on composting wood chips and composting your walkways on my channel. If you're interested in that at all, there's a composting playlist, and I think that's a good place to check out. But I have had redwood now. This is the first time I had redwood, and it just doesn't break down. So it's breaking down very, very, very slowly. It is breaking down, but it's slow. So I recommend not doing that if you're going after a compost. And I recommend doing that if you're going after just like solid pathways. So that's the one thing I would say. Other than cedar, I would say redwood, just know what you're getting into. And then like pine, I've had that before. I've had all sorts of different ones before. And what you do is you just go, and I mean, all these times I either talked with an arborist that I already know, and if he's around, and he can dump some chips for me, and they dump the whole truck. There's a whole pile of wood chips in my back driveway. And what you do is you just go up to them and you say, "Hey, I'm around the corner." Like this last batch, I was 3 blocks away, and I pulled over and said, "Hey, you guys need a place to dump the chips?" He goes, "Yeah, how much do you want?" And I said, "I'll take the whole truckload." I'm sure people say, "Oh, only a wheelbarrow full," and that's probably annoying to them. They're probably like, "Yeah, come on over, bring your wheelbarrow." But he had them detach it right then. It was almost full anyway, and drive the truck to the house and dump it. Because if they don't dump it at your place, or another place, they actually have to pay to dump it at the dump. So, so it's good for everybody. And so that's what I do. And if you have a deep enough litter, so like if you have it like a 1.5 feet deep, that will probably be enough, even a foot maybe, but that'll be enough to maintain some amount of heat for that to happen. And it will start decomposing. So another feature of my aviaries are that I actually have the door, when it opens, you have to step up and over to get into it. And that's made for 2 reasons. One, so that you can actually get into the aviary without birds coming out. And 2, to hold back the chips. So you don't want to have a deep litter system and every time you open the door, the chips fall out. Like that would just be so annoying. So that's one adaptation that I planned for when I built the aviaries. Yeah. You guys have good questions today. PJ says, I only have ice and a dusting of snow, ice from dumping out frozen waters in my barnyard. Well, don't dump it on your pathway. How about that? Verna says, Katrina, if I was to fill all my cages, I can have up to 120 quail. Yeah. And that's amazing. And Verna's growing in an apartment. So if she can do it, anybody can do it. That's the moral of the story there. Yeah. That's a lot. Hi, Joy. Hello from Western Oregon. You might be the closest to my parents. They're in Central Oregon. Welcome. Everybody saying hi. Dawn says, I have such a hard time imagining how to keep track of things in my aviary. Locating eggs, I'd be scared I was picking up old eggs, knowing old birds versus young, etc. Yeah, I have some older birds. They're not that old, but I have some older birds in my aviary, and they're fine. I personally don't expect, like, if let's say I have 40 birds, I don't expect 40 eggs because I know I have some older birds in there, and it's just part of the process. And at some point, I will change out the whole entire thing. At some point, everybody will get processed and new birds will go in. So that's my plan. It's kind of a mixed group right now because I didn't have enough females. They didn't have as many females as I wanted. And so I just like, fine, the old girls can stay in there. So yeah. Finding the eggs. So that's another thing with deep litter is if you are not in there at night, because they do lay in the evening, if you're not in there after they lay and you wait until the next day, midday to do that, if they're digging, they just happen to bury some. And so I know there are particular places in my aviary where I'm just going to scrape it back, that far. And if there's eggs there, that's good. I'll grab them. Then I scrape deeper, and anything deeper than that, I break and I let them eat. And, you don't want to risk that. For myself, it's fine, but I don't want to risk that when, selling them. You're not supposed to sell, old eggs. But you'll get the hang of where they do that. And then in the summer, they will do that more when it's hot because they're actually burrowing into the chips for insulation. So that makes sense. And then, Dawn, I think you've probably already seen it, but I have a video about easy way to pick up eggs. And I just have like a ravioli, the scoop that you get ravioli out of the hot water. And I have that on a long stick, and I pick it up without leaning over. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, I think that's just getting to know your birds and where they lay and where they're going to dig. Yeah, and then counting as you go as well. Verna says, yeah, hard to find the brats in a cage as they can get sneaky. Behave as you watch, and as soon as you turn your back, they attack. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I suspected. Dawn says, but the idea of the aviary on me, just have to make it very predator proof. Dawn, where are you? Are you in like bear country? Because I'm in town, and raccoons are the worst I have, which they have little hands. But that's the only thing that I don't know about is like the bigger predators, how people deal with that. If they'd be more like in a really secure building. Yeah, I lost you guys again. Hang on. Yeah, predator proof. So for here, for raccoons and, well, there's one cat that they don't care about at all. But as far as raccoons go, or rats, those are the two predators that I would be concerned about. And for that, I have locks. I have a video on locks as well. But I have a lock that they wouldn't be able to open. And then I also have the hardware cloth dug into the ground. I have not put hardware cloth underneath. I think if I was in a more, if I was in an area that was not urban, I would put down something on the bottom, whether that's hardware cloth or, maybe you just use, corrugated metal to do that. And then just make sure that you angle that metal for any excess moisture to go out. Those are some ideas for that. I don't know what predators you're dealing with, though. Steve says, I think it's harder to find in a cage. Oh, the bullying. Only if you don't spend time there. Can't just feed and leave. I have a chair where I can sit and watch their behavior. Yeah. Yeah. Best behavior, right? Hatching a home. Oh, thanks for the kind words. Well, you're good. That's why you get kind words. Feather Connection says, Linda is so phenomenal. It's a great word. I love the hatching program. Got a new customer today, a few hours before this call. Congratulations. That's awesome. Awesome. Everybody's congratulating Kelly. Kelly is Feather Connections. Hatching Home is responding to Dawn saying, I wrap my aviary top, sides, bottom in hardware cloth and it works. I see where predators try to dig, burrow, and pull off the mesh. It's holding. That's good. Yeah, I didn't do the underneath. It's on top too, but I didn't do underneath because, well, it's one of those things you might regret later, right? But as of right now, it's working. Oh, thank you, Verna, for putting the composting playlist. She has a link right there for the composting playlist. Dawn says, do you know what type of predators? Oh, hatching at home. Thanks for the information. I was thinking I'd need a wire bottom for sure. Yeah. And let's just skip and see. She's responding. Coyotes, skunks, possum, rats, cats, owls, and hawks. Oh, and snakes. So far, a snake and a rat made it under the door. I fixed it and it's holding for now. Well, that's good. Hatching Home says, Katrina, congratulations on your new egg account. That makes me so happy to hear that you made a great connection. Yes, makes me happy too. They need to order eggs still. But I had a great interaction with a local person who owns a sushi place in town. And he actually told me to raise the price that I was asking for. And we were talking about all sorts of ideas of how to use that. And he's really interested. He was interested enough that, I was giving out free 12-pack of eggs with egg scissors. And he said, I just want a card. I'm going to order from you. I need to talk with my crew and see what we want to do. And I'm going to order from you. And he said, keep that and give it to someone else to get more business. So that was awesome. That was awesome to hear. And I'm hoping that turns into a good relationship. Yeah, so I've been dropping off, freebies, and there's been some good response. There's been a couple of really good responses, and then some that are like, wow, I could really see doing a special. And so I need to, be talking about these things. Something else when I approach people, I have on my card, everything that I do. It's not just about quail eggs. It's, I have quail, I have, hatching eggs, I have quail, I have eating eggs, I have meat rabbits. I can't sell the meat, but I can sell a rabbit. I don't remember what else is on that side of the card, but I have cat toys and dog treats. So that's the, things I'm making out of I haven't made any yet, but I have plans in my head. Things I'm making out of the quail feathers and the rabbit hides and, all of that. And then, feet of the quail, ears of the rabbits, all of that. I have tons of that in the freezer. But I have that on there. I have seasonal fruits on there. I have herbs. I have all this. And then I say, sounds like a lot to fit on a card. It is, but it works. That they're also not, I'm not limited to that. So if there's anything you think of, ask and we might grow it. And part of that is when I'm approaching these places, I say, I also grow food. Grow fruit and vegetables and herbs. And if there's something that you're looking for that's hard to find, I might be able to grow it for you, or I might already have it. So that's something else I'm offering at the same time I'm doing the egg conversation. Like there was one person who wasn't interested in eggs, but was interested in some other things that I might be able to help them with. So kind of think about that. If you're selling, kind of think about what else you can help with. Yeah. So yeah, thank you. I just lost you guys again. Oh, Dawn has the same predators except for plus bear, neighbors, big dogs, and fishers. Fishers are smart. Fishers are in the weasel family. Snakes have been ruthless. Yeah, you definitely can't have any holes. And I don't know anything about the bear. I posted a question one time in Newbie Quail Lovers about if anybody had any like large predator things, and most people replied that they just have their quail inside. So I would love to kind of follow you in knowing what you're doing and seeing how things work. Yeah. Don says, thank you, Katrina. I might try to figure out an aviary next year. Yeah. Let me know how that goes. The bear part is the only part that I'm like, well, they'll just bust through if they want to. I mean, hopefully there's more attractive things to eat out there. Don says, I'm on a ridge top in the eastern panhandle in West Virginia. Bears, coyote, raccoons, fisher, neighbor dogs, huge rat. We had big rats here too. Snakes, owls, eagles, hawks, etc. Neighbor lady mentioned she lost her chicken to something years ago. Weasel, ermine, can't remember what word she used. Yeah. So the weasel family, they decapitate their prey. So if something's missing a head, it was likely in the weasel family. I think rats might do that too. I don't know. Yeah. Hatching Home say, oh, Kelly, that's wonderful news. Yes. Wonderful news on your new one. Verna says, Katrina, do you make your own business cards or do you order them? I make my own. So you can buy the stuff to do it at Staples, at Walmart, at anything. And the ones that you print yourself are so much better looking than they used to be. They had little tabs sticking out and all that. But now you can take a few sheets of them and just fold them and there you go. And then you can look on, I think Avery is the brand, and you can look on their website. They give you a code on the packet, and you can look on their website and they'll actually have a template for you. And then I just do it in Word. So whether it's cheaper or not, I don't know. Right now it is because I'm not making a whole bunch of them. So yeah, good question. Aaron says bears do not like electric fences. True. Yeah. Oh, my dad wants me to show a business card. I can do that. That would make sense, huh? Yeah. Joy says, I've heard that electric fencing works good for bigger predators. Yeah, that would work. So this is my business card. You guys can see that. So I have my Facebook and YouTube on it as well. And then this is the back. And as you can see, I have like this border. That's not a border. I inserted rectangles, 2 of them, and then made it so it was behind the text. So no special stuff there, just Word. Yeah. Joy says, I've heard that electric fencing works good for bigger predators. Oh, I just read that. Yes. Don says, thank you, Aaron. I have most of the supplies I need to put electric wire around my chicken coop. Need to finish that. I hear that works. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't had to deal with bears. Vern says, in the late 90s, I made my own and sold orders. You know, that's a good idea. That's a really good idea. If you're able to just design it, and the logo design, one of my friends made, and she did a great job. So, yeah. Oh, Don saying hi to my dad, John. Aaron says mothballs also keep predators away. Have you seen that happen? Because I have heard that, but I don't know anything about why that would be other than they're bad for you. If they hide the smell, maybe, or something. I haven't heard the why for that. So that's the question. Yeah, are the mothball toxic for the birds? That's another good question that I don't know the answer to. I mean, they are toxic to ingest, and they keep bugs away from things. Like if you have an insect collection, like for school, I have an insect collection for school, and you're supposed to put mothballs in there or moth crystals in there, and it does. It's not that it kills the moths; it keeps them away, so they don't even want to come close. So I would assume it's probably not good. My mom says mothballs stink. Yes, I think that's the point. I mean, the point is to get rid of moths, but yeah. Berna says, I used to sell bird license that granted the barter the right to fly the bird. Berna, that sounds like something you would do. I say that in the most positive way. Dawn says, I've heard such mixed reviews about mothballs. I bought a box but never put it out after the huge snake incident where I thought I'd die. Yeah. I don't know about mothballs. I know that they're I don't know, toxic, cancer causing something. They're not great for you. Yeah. Linda says, I've heard peeing around your cages will help things, keeps away skunks and raccoons. I don't know if it works though. So I've heard about that, and I have heard about it enough that I think it probably has some truth, but I think you'd also have to keep doing it. The other thing that I've heard is, what's it called? What's it called? Somebody knows what it is. Bone paste? It's some sort of nasty smelling things that you put on. It's supposed to keep like deer away. I don't know if it's supposed to, I think it's supposed to keep predators away too. People use it in orchards. That's all I know. I think it's called bone paste or something like that. No, not bone meal. It's not bone meal. It's something that's made. Yeah, it's something that people like cook down and make. Let's see. Steve says, I never had success with mothballs. Had a rattlesnake curled by one. Thought it was supposed to deter snakes. Maybe I thought it was his baby. Rattlesnakes are, if you have a mama rattlesnake, it will come back the next year and have babies in the same hole. At least the Western rattlesnakes. I don't know about the ones by you guys, but that is something that they do have some fidelity for. So that's something to know. Linda says, I've heard. Oh, I already read that. Somehow I skipped some of these. Sorry if I skipped your comment. If I skipped it, I didn't mean to, and you can put it in again. Aaron says, the ammonia smell keeps small predators away. I wouldn't put them in an aviary, but on the ground under hutches. Yeah, so something with scents. I know, the only thing I know, and this is going to sound weird, and this is because I'm a biologist. I know that the fake Chanel No. 5 perfume, the fake one, attracts mountain lions. So don't go hiking with that on. People use that as a lure for camera traps for mountain lions. So that's fun. Let's see. Don's going to have nightmares. Oh. S.O. Swanson's, in that case, Linda, I'll never have a skunk or raccoon problem. Erin says, my grandmother kept some in her chicken coops to keep snakes away. Kept some, we've talked about a lot of things. Kept some mothballs or kept some something else. Yeah. And did it work is the question. Yeah, my mom suggested bone meal. It's I think it's bone sauce, maybe. Yes, Dawn says it. Bone sauce. That's what it is. Yeah, if you can look that up and see. I know it's supposed to keep deer away, and I thought predators too, but you guys can look that up on your own. I don't do it. Apparently it's really stinky. Linda's no. Erin is laughing at Linda. I'm definitely safe from predators then. I go outside specifically to do that. So a cautionary tale. This comes from what is his name? Stefan in the permaculture orchard. I don't remember how to say his last name. It starts with an S. But he said on one of his videos that he had someone having problems with a specific tree in the yard, and apparently it was because her husband was peeing at that specific tree every day and it was getting too much nitrogen. So share it around. I don't know. That's just a cautionary thing is don't go to the same place every time or else you might be causing issues with your plants. I don't remember what video that was on, but it was one of his, the permaculture orchard. He's a great resource for that. Bone we're gonna put bone sauce recipe on here, the link. All right, where are we? Dawn says, Danny, a Deep South homestead, recommends bone sauce, but I can't remember the permaculture guy's name that makes it. Yeah, it's not just one person. There is one guy who's like selling it, but this is a thing that people do besides that one person. And I know who you're talking about, but I don't remember his name. But it's not just one person that does it. It's actually something that several people have done through time. Oh yes, mothballs. Did it work, Erin? Dawn says, when I was camping here before the house was built, it seemed things were attracted to my body areas. Looked it up, things like the minerals in urine. Yeah. So it's like if the landscape is low in those minerals, especially, then that would be good to for all the little critters to go to. Dawn says, good to know because I can't afford the sold bone sauce. Yeah, there's you don't have to buy it. It's something that you can make, but as I understand, it's really stinky. So anyway, you can find most anything on YouTube. True, including things you don't want to find. So be careful how you word things. Yeah. So are there any more pressing questions? It looks like we talked a lot about aviary stuff, and that's good. I like it. I have aviaries. I did want to tell you guys that I do have a couple of recipes on my channel that I totally forgot to mention. Maybe I'll go back and put little cards in it. But I have a pumpkin pie recipe and a fudge nut pie recipe on my channel that if you guys are looking for a new recipe or for like this is a homemade pumpkin pie and a homemade fudge nut pie, then you can look at that and try some new recipes if you'd like for your Thanksgiving. I don't think I'm going to make pumpkin pie. Maybe I will, but I'm going to, fudge nut pie is a holiday tradition. My mom says, S.S. Swanson says, are your rabbits pulling hair or just Thanksgiving based on a calendar expectation? Today was day 26, which is the day I put in, we're changing subjects. We'll come back to pies. Day 26 is the day that I put in the nest boxes, and they should have their babies around day 30. You put it in early so that if they are early, they have something to lay them in. They don't lay their babies. They have some place to kindle, and which is what birthing rabbits is called. And then if they're late, day 35 is how much time you give them. If they haven't had babies by day 35, which is what happened last time, then it's time to rebreed. So, yeah, so they are not pulling hair. Both of them did make little nests in there, which doesn't mean they're going to have them tonight. It could mean they're having them tonight, but they will often just automatically just go, oh, it's time to make a nest. And they do that. All except for the first time, I just cram hay into, and I know people use straw, that hay is what I have, but I just cram hay into the nest box. And then they make it from there. The first time I did it, I just kept on giving them hay, and it's like, wow, I'm giving you so much hay. I should just put it in there. And they do fine that way. So yeah. Yeah, so yeah, let me find the link to the videos. Let's see. Oh, it's going to do things differently. Let's see. It's harder to search this way because I have my own stuff. But pumpkin pie, I have the video of how to get it out of the pumpkin, like how to treat the pumpkin and all of that. And then how to save it for later. So if you want to make it later. And this is not going as quickly as I want it to. Well, oh, okay. Verna put the playlist there. That works for me. Thank you. I was having trouble. It's different when you're going on your own thing, because you have to like. Anyway, it's different. Thank you, Verna. Let's go back. Let's see. Verna says, you and Jasmine are the ones I refer to when I get questions on aviaries. Yeah, I think we have similar things we do, and we also have different things we do, and there are tons of ways to do it. So hers is much, much larger than mine is. I mean, she has a lot more room, and hers has a part of it that's like it's kind of like an inside with a screen porch. I think that's kind of how it is, where it's most of the way enclosed, and then the other area is more open. And yeah, so that's good. Hatching Home says those recipes sound great. They are. Yum fudge nut pie, a holiday tradition. So this is something that my grandma, my mom's mom, I think she was the one that found it in her magazine, right? And then we always had it. We always had it for the holidays. And one holiday, she decided she was going to do a cheat version. And instead of doing the double boiler and all that, she made it with pudding. And everybody's like, what the heck is this? So don't cheat on the recipe. It's a really good recipe. Hatching Home says, have to run. It was great to see you all. Thank you, Katrina. You're welcome. Good to see you on here. Thank you, Linda. And thanks again, Verna, for finding the playlist, because I was having trouble. Manuel's here. Hello, I'm driving back. Hi, everybody. Hello. This is what I am to do. Thank you, Verna. Verna says, hey, Manuel, make sure to watch the road until you get home. Yep. So yeah, so what types of things are you guys planning on for Thanksgiving? I'm kind of thinking maybe I'll do quail, maybe quail and rabbit. I don't know. We're not doing anything big. We're just us. What are people doing? You guys cooking interesting things, or going with the traditional home cooked turkey meal? That's the question I have. PJ says turkey. Is it your turkey though? Do you raise turkey? I think you said you did. Verna says, I'm using my quail eggs to make another cheesecake for Thanksgiving. That is so good. I don't remember if I have a recipe for cheesecake on there or video or not. I don't think I do. But I make a good cheesecake. Cheesecake is really easy. A lot of people are afraid of it. Like, oh my gosh, it has to take a lot of time. And it really doesn't. It doesn't take a lot of your time to put together. It doesn't take a lot of any of your effort to put it. Like, it's so easy. You just have to be home. Because at least the recipe I have, it takes like 4 hours to go through the cooking and cooling process before you can take it out. You cook it first, and then you just turn off the oven and leave it in the oven until the oven cools, and then take it out and cool it on the counter until it's all the way cool, and then put it in the refrigerator. So that's the one that I do, and it's really, really good, but also really easy. And I tricked someone one time into making one. This person wanted me to make them cheesecake, and I was already busy doing things. I'm like, okay, well, get out this, get out that. Okay, put that in the bowl, mix it all together. Okay, you're done. And I tricked him into making it. PJ said, yes, my turkey. So PJ's, I've had store-bought turkey, and I've had wild hunted turkey. How is your homegrown turkey? How is it different from those? I'm sure it probably is. I just have never had a homegrown turkey. Verna says something that skipped. You already said that. Okay. Here we go. Aaron says, we are cooking turkey, chicken, duck, and pork, all raised on our homestead. You must have a lot of people involved in your celebration. Verna says, New York style cheesecake. Joyce says, traditional turkey and ham. Dawn says, I've been sick, so I'm laying low. My best friend forever will be in the area for hunting, so I will do my usually small traditional meal at some point. I hope you are feeling better soon, because that is no fun being sick, and that you have a fun holiday. PJ says, only the best. Is that in reference to the New York style cheesecake? Aaron says, no quail available right now. I need every quail I can get at the moment. You must be having a good time selling them. Don says, I always make a turkey or turkey breast, even just for me, so I can have the broth, or so I can can the broth. Yeah. Thanksgiving empty nester style. So last time I did turkey, actually it was from last year, but I canned the leftovers. But I also made the turkey in my New Wave, which is like an Instapot, but it's huge, so you can fit a turkey in it. And what I did is I saved all the juiciness on the bottom and canned that separate from, I saved it, and then I made broth out of the bones, the bone broth. So it was able to be canned at the same time, but in separate jars. And I use that to make gravy. So you can't can gravy because you should not can flour. But if you just can the nice thick yumminess straight from underneath the turkey where it's been cooked, then that you can can that and then make gravy any time of the year. You want mashed potatoes and gravy, you don't have to and you want real gravy, you don't have to go to cook a turkey for it to get it. You can just make that out of the jar. And I actually don't know if I did a video on that. I don't think I did, but I plan to. But it's really good, really, really good. And it's like in a portioned thing where you don't have like a whole big thing of gravy. You have, a smaller amount. Yeah. Deidre says, I'm making a pumpkin pie with pumpkin we grew and sourdough biscuits. Yum. We had a goal of homestead-based meal. Looks like we'll accomplish it this year. That is awesome. Awesome. Aaron says, and homegrown lima beans. That's good. PJ says, I've never had wild turkey, but my home-raised turkey is yummy because I put a lot of love in it. Secret ingredient. Linda says, that's awesome, Christina. Christina is Gidros. That's a great goal to accomplish. Yes, it is. It is. I struggle sometimes to realize that I have things in the yard that I should be eating instead of the things that I'm eating. And that's something that I have been working on the past several years. Hey, I have something in the yard. Eat that first. I did not have a chance to start a fall garden because we were like in the hundreds for so long, and then all of a sudden went down to cold. But because I let my volunteers volunteer, I have beet greens, I have chard, I still have some sweet potato leaves in the front yard, as you guys saw. So I have some greens, which didn't even have to plant it. So you have your volunteers come up. Miner's lettuce is just coming up, which is also edible. Yeah. Aaron says we invite our neighbors over so they don't have to eat turkey TV dinners. Well, that's nice of you. Says that's wonderful. Dawn says nice about the gravy. Gravy's always nice. That's why they call it gravy, right? Verna says I was going to buy a fresh turkey while they were on sale, but the sad thing is I don't have any more room in my freezer. Time to get another freezer? Wait, that's not how we work. You have plenty, I'm sure, to hold you over. Mary says, I can attest to Katrina's yummy gravy. She fixed it when we were visiting. That's right. We did fix it out of the jar then. And it didn't taste like it was like prepackaged, right? It just tasted like it was fresh made gravy. Thank you. Dawn says, awesome Gidros. Yes, awesome. Steve says, I want to be like Gidros when I grow up. Steve, when are you growing up? That's a good question. Verna agrees. Christina is awesome. Yes, I agree as well. That is a good goal to have and a good goal to accomplish, which is awesome. Aaron says, Steve, I wish I had you as a neighbor. You'd be a good neighbor. PJ says, I'm having a good friend over. I might fix some quail for him to try also. Yeah, it's good to have people try some different things if they've never had it. Yeah. Verna says, means that is time for me to cook up a storm and freeze dry some meals. Yeah. Yeah. I think that the freeze dried meal is what I find most interesting. Maybe not most interesting, but I find it interesting about the freeze dryer is that you can just throw your leftovers in there and say, hey, I'm going to have this in 10 years. I'm going to have this in 20 years. I'm going to have this available. Like you could say, oh, I have a whole meal. Throw it in. I think it's great. S.O. Swanson says never. Dawn says, gotta head out. I want to do some things before bed. Great to see you. Great to see you, and I hope you're feeling better. Everybody's saying good night to you. Verna says freeze-dried chili bean soup is awesome. Well, chili's always awesome. Unless it has bell pepper in it, then it's not awesome. Cuz is modern Peter Pan. Yep. Never grow up. Never grow up. I won't grow up. All right. Well, we're a little past the hour. If there's anything else you guys want to talk about, go ahead and put it in the comments and we can talk about it. But I think we've had a good conversation. Lots of quail stuff in the conversation. Hopefully next time I see you guys, we'll have some baby bunnies and that'll be good. Baby bunnies are always good. All right. So I think I'm going to sign off here. Thank you all for coming and listening and being a part of the conversation and all of the comments. I do appreciate it so much. And you may have 20 by next week. We'll see. There's only 2 rabbits pregnant. So one of them has had a lot. The other one, I think the most she's had is like 7 or 8. Yeah. Have a great evening, everyone. Blessings, one and all, from Aaron and from Verna. Have a wonderful evening and an excellent Thanksgiving. And I will see you guys all later.